Hi YouTube, so this is just going to be 5 quick kind of beginner things you need to know before starting fingerstyle. So firstly, what I consider fingerstyle would be just trying to recreate an entire song, including the background, including the melody, including sometimes even the harmony, to just like cover the song, to recreate it. So like I'll have some music playing in the background, and yeah, let's just get into it. So, first thing we're going to be talking about is scales. Now, don't be afraid of scales. Once you get them down, they're generally pretty easy. And the 3 scales that I think you should learn are, well, you'll learn over time while playing fingerstyle covers, but the 3 scales I tend to use most are my C scale, my G scale, and the minor scale. Which also means I know how to play my A minor scale, and, well, E minor would be the same as your G scale. So, and the reason for that is because we're using relative minor. Now, if you don't know what that means, it's okay. Basically, the relative minor is we're just using the 6th of that note, but it'd be minor. So if, say we're playing a C major, right? Then we'd go to the 6th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I'm just gonna play down here. So then we'd make that 6th minor, and you'd have the same scale. So your C major scale would be the same as your A minor scale. And your G scale would be the same as your E minor scale. Now, what are those scales? I'm sure there's a bunch of tutorials online. I'm just going to play them for you a little bit quickly. So that's your C scale, and your G scale would sound like this. Your A minor scale would start on here. And for my A minor scale, I'm using literally the same notes as my C scale. It's just it sounds different because it's a different octave. And the same goes for my E minor scale. Sorry. And then you'll know you have the right notes if you just play the scale and you have, and it sounds okay. So if I do 1st, 2nd, 4th, 5th, and yeah, it should sound something like that for your C scale. So once you get that down, we're going to move on to the next bit. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about our second point, which is bass notes. Now what I didn't mention in the first bit is you're playing melody with these strings, with these fingers. Boom. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And sometimes your pinky if you're really fast like that, but generally you're going to be using these 3 for your melody. So if I'm going to go, I'm using these 2 fingers. And then for bass, it's almost all the time your thumb. So it's going to be sounding a little bit like that. Now, what's really hard about fingerstyle is getting that bass and melody to be different, because when I was starting out, I usually say I'm playing an E and I need to go, or so, just like that. I usually go like, and you need to learn to keep your fingers independent. And there's no really tip I can give you. It's just mostly practice you have to do. Practice going bum 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 instead of bum bum bum. It might not sound like a huge difference, but trust me, when you can go and control when to hit your bass note, you can be able to play so many more songs a lot cleaner. So, yeah, that about does it for bass notes. Actually, no. One more thing. Your bass notes will be your 6th and 5th fret, or sorry, not fret, string. So it would be your 6th and 5th string generally on your bass notes. And occasionally you'll have your D string used, but I wouldn't suggest using a high F on your bass note. So like, if you've been cheating F and playing it like this the entire time, you need to start learning how to do that bar chord, or you can do an A7 kind of like this. Sorry, this is an A7. And with an open 5th string. So you need to start learning how to bar chord and stop cheating with this F. And the same goes for B. You can't really just do... You can technically do this, but this is going to sound a lot better in fingerstyle covers. So, yeah. Make sure you learn the chords correctly. Now for my third point, we're going to be talking about harmonies and just generally using chords. So, hopefully you know all your major and minor chords, so F, minor, na 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 na, all of these. And you're just going to be using those chords to create your harmony. So, and this isn't going to be all the time. For example, if I'm going to play an E major in an A minor scale, I won't use the... I won't go like that, I'll just bar. But for general rule of thumb, your harmony is going to be created if you have the correct chords. So let's say I have a little bit of a progression that goes F, G, E minor, and A minor. And then my melody would go like... So if I just play the correct chords and I have the strings above my melody, so if my melody is on the 1st string, I should be creating the chord for my bass note, so F, and the strings on top of it. So the 1st is my melody, and then the 2nd and 3rd would be my harmony. So then if I'm playing the melody on the 2nd string, then my 3rd and 4th should be harmony. And those harmony notes are made by my chord. So say we have F, right? There's the bass note, and then there's my melody note. So we're just going to add the F chord with the 2 strings above it. So, like that. And then G, we'd move to a G chord. Same with E minor, except now E minor is on the 2nd string. So we'd use our other 2 fingers to do the 3rd and 4th string, which are the 2 above it. So, like that. And then A minor. And then that's just generally how I create harmony. And your melody can move off of this. Don't think you're just like frozen in place. So say I'm doing an F chord. And when you get used to that, you can start actually moving your harmony. So let's go back to that E major chord I was talking about. So normally, if you're just moving your melody, it'd sound like this. Sorry, it'd sound like this. Which isn't exactly the best thing ever. So you can move around your harmony so it sounds something like this. And that sounds a little bit better. So let's talk about snaring for a sec as our 4th point. And snare, let me get this straight, isn't essential to fingerstyle. There's some songs, like Nets is something, No Spectrum, that goes... And that doesn't use a snare in most of its song. My cover does, but ignore that. So, snare, not necessary, but it's just a really good element to add for, say, faster songs or songs that actually have a snare, because you're trying to cover it, right? You're trying to mimic the drum pattern, you're trying to mimic the strumming pattern, you're trying to mimic the harmony, melody, everything. So if you're going to mimic their snare, we're just going to do a little tap on the top string. And you might notice that this is going to mute your top string. Now, the way now there's some guitarists that tap their 5th string, which is a very good option. Very good way to avoid muting your bass string. But what I've gotten into the habit of is just hitting my bass string in. So if I'm playing like something like that, I just go like that. Just, yeah. Now, how are we actually gonna snare? So again, just a really light tap, but you might find it hard to play melody at the same time. So if I'm going like that, it's gonna take a little practice. You're gonna be hitting all the other strings, so it would sound, if you don't know how to do it, it sounds something like this. And that's not exactly what we want in most songs. So again, it's just a bunch of practice that you need to do. You can see I'm not hitting every string as a snare. I'm only hitting one string, and there's no real thing to overcome that. It's just practice. So if I want to go, and yes, this will absolutely destroy your nail. Anyway, yeah, it's just a lot of practice that it comes down to go like this to hit your snare and play melody at the same time. And another thing I'd like to add is something like that, or even tapping here. It's not exactly the most ideal movement, but it does make your guitar sound really cool. And if you're able to move your fingers back fast, and you're able to obviously do that correctly, then it'd be really good. But for a beginner, I would not recommend trying to go. See, I even messed up this bit here. It's really hard. And for hitting here, there's usually you can do that while strumming. So say I'm playing E minor, G, C, and B. We'll go. You can see that's just percussion without the snare, and it's mostly strumming. But yeah, use your another thing, use your snare sparingly, because this can get kind of annoying. I think that's pretty much it for snares. And lastly is my final tip, and this is just gonna be, have fun with it. There's really, like, fingerstyle can be really challenging sometimes, and I can't say that you'll be able to play your favorite song just off of learning, oh, now I know how to do scales, I know that I need to have a bass note, I know how to add harmony, I know how to add percussion. It's just gonna take so much practice and so much dedication to get there, but trust me, it's really rewarding when you're able to play a song, or even when one of your videos go viral that you've been working on for a while. And yeah, final tip, practice and slow down. There's no rush to learning a fingerstyle song, and while it might be hard to do this at first, you'll always eventually get there. So if there's any questions you have, I'll answer. I'll try to answer every comment. And yeah, hope you have a great day. Goodbye.